Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm sitting here putting together some plans, and the title of this one was Feeding Yourself and Your Family, basically. And that's what I'm going to do. Now, what I have on my property now, which is part of my food forest, there's that one little click in right there. I get that person every single time. I don't know who it is. Oh, hello. Food forest permaculture. That's you that clicks in sometimes. Okay. But here's what I'm doing. I am upping the amount of food that I grow on my property, and I'm going to use the same items that I have on the property. For instance, a few years back, thank you for the thumbs up, Food Forest. A few years back, I was growing some blackberry bushes. Had quite a few of them, in fact. All started from one single plant. Playing in my yard. Playing in my yard. Hello, hello, hello. All right. People are stopping by. Say hello. Give me thumbs up. Thank you for the thumbs up. Um, so what happened was I looked at what I had on hand. I said, if you were not able to buy another fruit tree, another grapevine, another raspberry plant, what do you have right now on your property that you can propagate and increase the amount of food that you have from that one particular species of plant? And I looked at it and I said, well, okay, let's see. At one time I had close to 5 blackberry plants, no big deal, but I had them. And they all started from one single plant. And I gave a ton of them away to neighbors and that sort of thing. Um, and some of them lost interest in them and whatever. I would go and say, where are you blackberry plant? And I look at it and it was unkept and it was, just fading away because it was planted in a bad spot, lack of sun, that sort of thing. Anyway, I digress. So what took place was I looked at my blackberry plants today and I said, you're getting uh, less blackberries now because you're not really focusing on these blackberry plants as you once did. When it used to grow 16 feet tall because I made sure I had enough compost around it and watered it on it, and took care, basically care and maintenance. So now what I'm going to do, because I have some blackberries that are growing in areas that came up on their own, they will be moved to areas where they can get more sun. They will be put in an area where I can, regularly farm them for the berries. So I'm also going to take cuttings and grow more plants. I'm going to do the same with the raspberries. I'm going to do the same with the grapevines because I have how many different? I have 3 different types of grape plants now on my property. And what I'm going to do with those grapevines is grow more grapevines because I'm looking at it and I'm saying these look pretty good. They look like you need to, focus on the grapevines as well because you love grapes. My my I have a what you call a cherry tree, and it is never produced. And so I purchased another cherry tree to cross with that one. Now it's getting of age where it's going to start producing blossoms and to cross with that other tree. So what I'm going to do to ensure that that happens is I'm going to take about 3 cuttings off of the new cherry tree, and I'm going to basically um, I can't think of the word right now. I'm trying to look for it. I'm going to basically take the tree and make one tree part of the other, and I will make certain that there always is some limbs there so they can cross with, and that will help. I'm going to graft it, and so that will help me to ensure that that tree has the uh, the genetics to cross with. And that's what I'm going to do. And the tree is about 5 or 6 years old now. It's never beautiful tree. Never produced one single berry. Always produce a lot of blossoms, never any berries. Now the tree that's across from it, the Bing cherry tree, When the blossoms drop here, they're just coming on, so they never cross. So the new tree that I have blossoms at the same time this tree does. But last year it only produced a few blossoms, maybe 5 or 6 blossoms, because it's a young tree. So I'm going to take some cutting and make certain that I have cherries. I need cherries. West Sand cherries. Uh, my neighbor has. Let's see, let's see, sun choke, 3 types, okra, 250 types. Okay, everybody's chiming in. Undergrow, underground food. Okay, all right. Sounds like a winner. Sounds like a winner. Let's see. Greetings, morning Gardner, everyone here. It said greetings to everyone, Nature's Nine and family. I was checking out some of your videos last night, but I want to say this, folks, um, and I want to impress this on everybody because I think it's important that we're taking um, and manage what we're growing a little better. I think, me, number one, I have to do that because I've been focusing mostly on my fruit trees, and I need to focus on the fruit trees, but I also need to focus on the grapevines and the raspberries and the blackberries. My kiwi, I have to go look and see how it's doing because it's been a long time since I actually spent any time, uh, dealing with my kiwi plant, and it's been growing like crazy, really doing its thing. So keep that in mind, folks. And I will be doing what I normally do each year. Excuse me. Starting my vegetable plants indoors because right here in Maryland, zone 7B, we have a very short growing season. And I need to make certain that I have absolutely everything ready to go when it's time to put it in the ground. Now, I do have, let's see, have to go waiting on the to cut out the cancer. All right, take care of yourself, food forest permaculture. Wow, I I know how. I mean, good people, good people, good people. I wish them the best. Um, the thing that I'm looking at is that uh, we can eat better and do better. We can also feel more in control if we have control over some of the things that we eat. We grow some of the items that we eat. Excuse me. You don't have to have a gigantic, huge garden, and some of us do. Some of it actually, it was a video I was watching. I think it was uh, uh, family here, Nature Nine and family. I looked at the size of the property that he has, or they have, and I looked at that and said, "Wow." And things started going through my mind. I'm thinking, corn over here, fruit trees over there, grapes over here, back here, raspberries. I saw all that in my mind, and I said, "Wow, it would take a lot of work. It would take a lot of management of what's there, but everything is you could feed yourself on a lot that size. I think it was around 5 acres, give or take. But you can feed yourself on that. We got another gentleman, the bull. The bull is raising chickens. Now, I think he said they're just primarily for eggs. Don't hold me to that because it's been a long time since I heard him speak about his chickens. But I see him out there. He's feeding them good. He's caring for them in a good way. But that is the route you want to go. And those chickens can produce some of his fertilizer, and he's doing real good. He's got a nice size property. He's got a nice size property there. But you want to take care of the soil. Make absolutely certain that you manage that soil correctly. And I see some people have property and they have all these wild trees on their property. And I'm asking myself a question here: what do you do with that many wild trees? Well, me, cut them down, ground them up, and that'll be fertilizer for my garden, and increase the overall area so I can grow in those areas. Increase the space that I grow. Back those trees off some, in other words. Back them up, ground them up, and they will make some beautiful wood chips. So that's my take on it. But um, growing that food is an awesome, awesome thing. I've done it for years. It just feels good. But if you really want to get on a real good take on it, I mean, you want to start growing more, more of what you really like. If you like grapes, instead of one grapevine or two grapevines, put down six grapevines, seven grapevines. Um, Let them start producing so you always have a plentiful supply of grapes. Let's see now these saplings make a lot of green manure growing like crazy. Yeah, yeah, absolutely. They grow like crazy. They do. They do. And when you have all that growth coming like me, I take my weeds and I use the heck out of them. They are some of the best fertilizers. I cut them back, lay them on the ground, and let them feed my soil. My grass I use my grass. What I use is I cut it and I use the mulch around my plants. Yeah, yeah, they get pretty tall, 12 feet, 15 feet. Um, yeah, absolutely. I just love it. I just love it when you're taking control of it and you are growing food and becoming independent from the grocery store. Because right now, I never walk up and down too much in the department where they have the vegetables. I do not like vegetables in grocery stores because a lot of times they are very poor quality. I have seen what I looked at. Went into a big major grocery store. Anyone heard of a grocery store called Giants in your neck of the woods? Um, they had some collard greens up on the shelf. Dollar, I think it was $1.29 a pound. I wouldn't feed those to my dog. Those collard greens I saw. They were sitting there rotting, and they were selling them. They were yellow. They were limp. They were on their way out. There was very little, if any, life left in them, and they were selling them. They didn't get not care. They said we're not going to lose on it. We're going to we're going to sell these, and that's what they were doing. And I looked at that and said, wow, that is sad. Money means that much to them. They would actually somebody laid them things up there and expect. I mean, you might want to give them to try to think of an animal that would want something like that. But I mean, I guess I would. If I had them, I would throw them in a compost pile or something. I wouldn't eat them, and then I'd be scared to do that because what kind of chemicals did they grow them with? That's my take on it. I'm sitting in here right now, folks. Last night it was 30 degrees, um, and, uh, and I said to myself, you know, you might want to cut that furnace on, but that pellet stove has been doing its deal. I got it back up and working. A pellet stove is a son of a gun when you let it get dirty. Pellet stove got more expensive to run than pellet stove. I don't like it, but what can you do? You can do something, but excuse me, I don't burn that much pellets as that big a deal. But I just feel better. I mean, I got some things done today, and then we got the governor on the air. I had to get away from that. I don't like watching all this coronavirus stuff over and over and over and over again because it affects me, and I don't like watching it. I'm sad that it's happening, but I don't like watching it. Don't like watching it. Don't like watching it. I'll watch something every once in a blue moon. If there's something major, like they say, the vaccine is coming out, or it'll be out. Excuse me. And here are the people that are going to be able to take it first. I might watch that, but I'm not going to watch them constantly talk about those numbers of people that have perished. I don't want to see that. TV is evil. Okay, okay. That's an opinion. That's definitely an opinion. Um, I see it on there, and it's just. I mean, and my television is that free television. I don't have all the fancy cable and stuff. But I will say this is that they're constantly reminding you that something's wrong with you. Uh, do you have breathing problems? Are you interested in taking these pills? And they give you that, and then they got the what was the other one? The new one that just started. It says, uh, oh, do you have congestive heart failure? Well, these pills can make your heart feel a lot better. And I'm looking at that going, oh my God, they just keep coming as though like the medical community owns a lot of stock in what they're doing, and so the commercials keep coming because they sell medication, and none of them mention exercise, eating right. That's at the back burner. They're not mentioning that very much. But at any rate, we all know we're on YouTube talking about gardening because we know that eating right can absolutely promote a healthier person. That we know. I love growing. There was a excuse me. There was a store online, but still there. In fact, it's called RareSeeds.com. Not make no advertisement for them, but I bought a pack of seeds. They were spinach. Don't remember what kind they were, but I gotta tell you, they were so good. I was eating them right straight from the garden. I was eating them from the garden, and they were nutty. It was a nutty flavor that they had, and I said, I like this. I like this. I really like this. Let's see. Every other country. Illegal in every other country. Let's see. Advertising medication on TV. Oh, okay, okay. All right. Hello. Rare Seed is Baker's Creek. Absolutely. Baker's Creek is the name of the company, and I got to tell you. Now, I will go there and buy something, and as long as it's heirloom, because they only sell heirloom, to my knowledge. And I will keep the seeds. Like for instance, I'll give you a good example. Those are okra seeds. Okra seeds. I bought them 7 years ago. Okra seeds. I don't know how many, a few hundred in here. I've been saving the seeds every year. They grow. I keep saving the seeds and that sort of thing. And I will be doing that with more seeds. Like like there's a tomato that I like called Cherokee Purple. And this year I bought some seeds again, and I said I keep saying I'm gonna save seeds, but this year I'm gonna make it a point to save seeds. Um, Tomato seeds are worth saving. They're expensive. The seeds are expensive now, um, and I definitely want to keep Cherokee Purple. There's another one called Brandywine Black Brandywine, and I want to definitely make sure I keep Black Brandywine in my arsenal as far as good food. Cucumbers. I'm going to find a good variety of cucumber that I like, and I'll start saving those seeds because cucumbers are really good if you get a good variety that you like. Another thing, getting seeds um, from these vegetables are so simple and easy, and there are tons of videos. And some of the videos actually show you how to get the seeds in the, grow the seeds in the correct way, and how to harvest the seeds in the correct way. There's some videos out there, so just look around. Don't grab every video you see out there. Because some people, they mean well, but they tell you something, and they should really, really kind of go, wait a minute. Here's how I do it. Here's how I found it works for me, and that's what they should do. They should not say things such as, "This is the only way it can grow," and "This is what you must do," and don't use words like that because it throws people in the wrong information. It throws people, it gives them the wrong information. Sunflowers. So another seed I'm going to keep the seed from because I went to purchase some seeds and I got, I don't know, maybe 20 of them, and it was like $2. And I said, no, I'm not doing this again. I'm going to harvest these seeds, whatever the birds don't eat up, and I will be able to grow sunflowers in years to come without going out and making it a point to buy more seeds because you can save these seeds. Got to save them the correct, and don't put them in places where mice can get them and that sort of thing because they will eat up your seeds. Put them in certain plastic containers. They can cut right through those. Mice can cut right through them. You're home asleep, and they're cutting a hole in a plastic container you bought at the dollar store, and boom, they got your seeds. Watermelon, sugar baby, given to me, purchased at Walmart for 50 cents. Walmart sometimes, I'm going to see what they're going to do this year, but they usually have some of those, I call them sample seeds. They'd be like 50 cents for the seeds. I tell everyone don't buy dollar store seeds. Don't buy them. Waste of money. Dollar store seeds, waste of money. I think they're like 20 cents a pack. Am I growing fruit trees? Let's see. I have 5 cherry trees. I don't know how many apple trees I have. I think I got, let's see, wait a minute. I got Honeycrisp, Granny Smith, and Fuji. Great apples, all of them. Granny Smith because you can make great apple pies with it. Honeycrisp because it's one of the most expensive apples you can buy. Fuji because it's just a incredible flavor and I really like it. It's firm. It's not mushy. I don't like a mushy apple. I like an apple that cracks when you bite into it and it's nice and flavored and really good. Really good. You can get kids to eat this apple. Fuji. Back in the old day, there was Red Delicious. God, I hated that apple. I hated that apple. My father would buy them all the time, and I would try to eat them because they look good when I get to bite into them. They got like a mushy, mealy kind of texture that I never got used to. I have two apple. I have two apple seeds coming from seeds this year, and lots. Okay. Oh, okay. Okay. Hope it survived. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Let's see. I have two apple seeds coming up from seed this year, and a lot of ones. Okay, all right. I'm not too keen on growing. Wish you luck. Wish you luck. But I've never been keen to growing apples from seed. Only because uh, I know when I cut a branch off of my tree and I propagate it, I know that I'm getting the same exact apple. Crab apples. Crab apples. Oh yeah, yeah, crab apples. I'm gonna tell you something I like about crab apples. They are great, great pollinators for apple trees. Great pollinators. I think I have the city installed some crab apples, maybe a few blocks from me, and I could actually go and cut a couple branches off and get and root them and put them in. But I just I figured the ones I have maybe they'll cross with those. I do get some apples. I do get some apples, but yeah, crab apples. Oh, it just bring back good and bad memories because I remember buying from a store online. It was called Summerstone Nursery years ago. Horrible nursery, horrible. I found that out later. I just started gardening, growing apple trees and that sort of thing, and I kept buying from them, and they were really cheap, and they were just horrible. You buy apple from them, and they'll say Granny Smith, uh, Honey Smith, Honey. You know, it'll say that it's a different tree, and then when it grows, it's actually a crab apple, and it was horrible. I had to take out six of them because they weren't in any way um, what I was supposed to be growing. I have 10 apple trees. I have three plum trees. One's a Stanley, and the other one's a Santa Rose. I have three of them. I have three pear trees. One's a Duchess, and the other one is a Delicious. Um, and the other one, oh, and the other one, I did get one from this store I told you about, Summerstone Nursery, that was supposed to be Alberta. No, was it Alberta? Yeah, Alberta. No, not Alberta. I can't think of it right now. It's a real popular pear tree. Uh, um, can't think of it right now. But anyway, it wasn't that tree, and I was lucky that it was in fact a pear tree. But what they sold me was not what it's supposed to have been, so I got stuck. But luckily, it does grow a uh, uh, pear that's you can tolerate. And I done kind of got good at this game growing things, and I could actually take that those some of the trees that I bought from that store and convert them over to something else because I don't have to keep them the same. I could actually cross them over to something else. You got one tree that grows from uh, Stock Brothers, and it's called a delicious. It's a pear tree, and I definitely could take that and use that genetics and cross them over to one of my other pear trees if I don't like the pear it produces. It's just so easy just graft it on there and then wait for it to start out and then cut back the rest of it or have two different varieties growing in that one tree. Yeah, yeah, that could be done. Okay, I purchased a plum tree without realizing it needs a pollinator. Yep. I've done that so many times. I've done that so many times. It was on sale. Now I need to find another. Okay. Do you know which one you're gonna cross it with? Yeah, because I've done that. I've done that. That's yeah. I've done it. Be excited, go out there and get it. And if you do if you do find another, I want to hear what kind of because you put down here I purchased a plum tree. You don't say what kind it was. Um, because if you don't know what kind it was, that's going to be kind of tricky. But if you know what kind it was, you could take that tree. Let's say no, but the one I have is called. Okay, so you do know what kind it is. Okay, all right, you know what kind you have. So all you got to do with that right there is go on one of these websites that sell the tree, find that tree, and then they're gonna have information there. So say what trees to cross it with, and then you go ahead and find it. Sometimes they have like about three, maybe four choices. You just got to find one. You got to find one that that blossoms at the same time or close to it. I was lucky with my cherry tree because when I purchased the one I purchased, it blossoms the same time that tree does. Now that the tree has gotten to maturity and it's starting to produce blossoms, it will now cross with that tree. So I think you're going to be okay. It's a little frustrating, but you can make that work. You gotta want to make that work, and you can make it work. All my trees are planted close together. They're what you call what's the trees called dwarfs, and I plant them close together. That's something I wanted to do. Not suggesting that anyone else should do that, but I'm like some of my trees are 22, 23 inches apart, and I did that for a reason. I want to help, just stretch them just enough so they stay small. It does cut into your yields or your crop, but I don't need that many. If I get 40 apples off one tree or 40 apples off another tree, I'm fine. I have 10 trees, apple trees. Yeah, because that's how that works. I have a tree that's called a Stanley plum. It will produce fruit on its own. But if I wanted to produce more fruit, I will find what variety crosses with it, put it in, and it'll produce more plums. Conventional wisdom is always wise. Hello, how you doing there? All right, Mr. Price. I'm waiting on Mr. Price because I want to see what kind of garden he does because he Even if it's even if a person living in an apartment, for instance, they can still grow something. They can grow something. I'm telling you, I have done it. Oh my goodness, I have tons and tons and tons of. I got a lot done today, but I got a few more things I got to do. Good people. Before I go, I want to say thank each and every one of you. Thank you very much for tuning in. I got 6 viewers coming in today, and it was good. It was good. It was good. And I got six. I got 8 thumbs up, and I appreciate that very much. I can't wait to get started on the garden. It keeps my mind off of this corona stuff. It keeps my mind off of it. Think about that. Your garden can actually help save your sanity. Thank you, Mister. They call me Mister. Well, thank you very much. I have 5 acres, but very thin soil. Very thin soil. I think you're saying you have very little topsoil on top of it, correct? Okay. All right. Amazing enough, in the forest, topsoil is not really that thick. I mean, well, that much that it's not like gardens. Gardens can be thick. You might have that much topsoil some places in the forest. It depends on what forest you go to. I always am amazed at the place I go fishing. Hard pan. You can work with hard pan. You can always work with hard pan. I had hard pan. That's not a big deal. All you got to do is just keep on adding organic matter. The same thing with Mr. Price. Organic matter is the answer to his situation there. Mostly rock. Okay. Ah, rocky soil. Not an expert on rocky soil, but you can still grow there. Oh, thank you very much. All right. Somebody, I can't make that name out there. Nancy, I think it's Nancy. I can't make it out right there, but we'll say thank you very much. Everyone else can see it there, and I appreciate you very much for donating and helping out my cause. Thank you very much. I'm sitting here now, and I'm saying to myself, Mr. Price, definitely, um, organic matter is the answer to your situation. I have done it. I had people actually come to my house. What I did is I found an arborist company, and I said, "Listen, I need some wood chips, and if you're ever in the area, here's my phone number. Call me, and you can come dump here." Shoot, I had them dumping so much wood chips on my property. It was just a shame. Oh, thank you very much. Oh my goodness, here to tell him to just drop a load of wood chips. Yeah, that's it. That's what we just saying. Drop a load of wood chips there. I had them dropping on my property so regular. And keep in mind, I'm under an acre. They dropped so much wood chips on my property that I had to tell them could they hold off for a second. I had to tell them that one dropping was two in one day. That was 20,000 pounds. My driveway disappeared. Had no way to park my cars. Um, then they came around next week. They said we got a load for you, and I said, oh wait a minute, because I couldn't take anymore, and I had to move that. And I'm just one person. I'm just one person, and I had one little garden tractor, and I was just working my, you know what, off and trying to get it moved, and weeks went by, and I was just, and one kid felt bad for me out there. No, his mother. His mother said, "Go help him. Go help him." And he came over there, and he about 20 years old, and he said, "Oh, thank you very much. Oh my God, look, oh my goodness here." I am. Oh, you're in Maryland too. I said, I need another load. You should rent a Wildcat. Yeah, because the way when I did it, I just had a tractor. I just had a little tiny garden tractor, and I bought one of those little $300 wagons. I put on the back of those metal wagons, and I just started working, and I kept working and working until somebody told their son to come over there and help me because it was crazy. I was working, and I couldn't believe if you work a lot, your hands will swell up. Um, the next day when I went to grab my steering wheel of my car, I realized my hands were swollen. I said, "Oh my God, what's happening here?" And I, relaxed and said, "Okay, that's from handling that shovel and that pitchfork gathering those wood chips." And it took me 3 weeks to move it. 3 weeks, constantly working on it. I mean, you should have saw the amounts of wood chips I had for one person to move, and I would, drive it up to and work and work and work and work, and I just said, "Oh my God." So on that note, I just want to tell anybody that if you get it dropped and you get it dropped in the location where you need it, that's an absolute plus. Plus, absolute plus. If that truck can get back there and drop it right where you need it, it's a plus. Because all you got to do then at that point is just move it around. But when I had to haul it, it was crazy. Oh, thank you very much. Oh my goodness, here. What is okay? I'm just sitting here and trying to give some information out, and I'm glad that you appreciate what I am putting out there. Thank you very much. Wow. Man, this is and I want all of you to make certain that you definitely get your garden off to a good start and just plan out everything. Plan it out because right now I have the seeds here. Uh, not a lot, but I have the seeds here that I'm going to do this year, and I'm not going to start everything super early this year because you got a lot of caring to do for months if you start them real early, and you got to take care of it. And as they get bigger, the pots get bigger, and you need more space for that stuff. So and you got to keep the plants warm because they don't survive well. When you take tomato plants and put them in an area where it's 60 degrees, 50 degrees, 40 degrees, they don't do too well. So that's just how I do it. So I will start corn indoors this year, corn in trays. I'm going to start okra in trays. I'm going to start my tomatoes in bulk, which means I'll get either a 5 inch cup, and I will put about 10, 15 seeds in there and start off my tomatoes. It's always good to definitely grow more or start more than you actually need because if something goes wrong, like I had some plants in the yard, hardening them off to use them. And kittens, they get born in the spring and they playing around. They knocked off everything and broke up every. Oh, thank you very much. Oh my goodness. Well, thank you very much. See. Tell the guys to plant a cover crop and some root vegetables like long carrot. Uh, yeah, I mean you could do a cover crop. You could do a cover crop. That's a I like to if I do a cover crop, I like to lose a very uh, diverse mix, like 7 or 8 different types of plants in one, and that way I get a lot going on and loosen up that soil. But I got to tell you, I can only tell you my story. What I did, I had purchased a property, and it was purchased for two reasons. One was for the place to live, and the other was for the yard. And I saw the yard was definitely, like I said, it's under an acre, definitely under an acre. And so what I did was the soil was really sticky and brown or grayish brown with some white marbling in it, and it was very few, if any, worms were in it. It was very few, very small worms if you found them. And I started, tilling the ground. Really made it worse. And so after tilling, I said, okay, I need to do something else because this soil was getting worse. And it was just sticky, and it would when it would rain and it would dry, you would see the cracks on the top of the surface. And I said, something is wrong. I'm doing something wrong here. And I started using two methods. First method I started using was wood chips, and wood chips makes a beautiful, beautiful topsoil. I stacked it on my soil. I think I put it up there maybe um, 10, 9 or 10 inches deep. That's what I did. And yes, yes, exactly, exactly. Thank you very much. And so what I did was I absolutely um, I absolutely started growing weeds. You should like all of it. You should like all. Yeah. Uh, I gotta tell you, the thing that really surprised me was that when I was growing all of these plants, I was collecting leaves. I was collecting, um, and the leaves in the fall, I could get as much as I wanted. My neighbors were putting them in the clear bags, and one night I would go out and get 40 bags or 80 bags, and it would be a lot of work, but I would get them and open them up and throw away the bags or um, repurpose some of the bags, because they weren't damaged. And so when I started adding this, something changed in the soil. Something changed. And it wasn't overnight, but it was over a few months. I started seeing all of these worms, huge worms. Where did they come from? But they come in an area where there's a food supply. And there was a lot of worms in this, but it was a different type of worm, a worm that moved extremely fast, a really fast moving worm. I call the worms. Yeah, you call them workers. Exactly, exactly. We call them workers, and they will go through your soil and loosen and open up, and they will excrete their waste. They will live and die. They will create an organic situation that will bring on the biology in the soil, and you will see your soil become different. I have so many worms in my soil now. On some days, they're just crawling on top of the ground. They, they, they're happy in between uh, some of the weeds. They just crawling on top of the ground, just enjoying themselves. And so, yeah, exactly. And that's the deal. Organic matter, absolute key. I guarantee it. You get the organic matter going in an area where you want to do some gardening, and I'm telling you, you will see a different, absolutely a different soil. Let's just have green stuff. Yeah, yep, yep. You're right. See, the fresh chips have green stuff, and the worms love it. They love it. The worms love it. I say worms are a good sign. Worms are definitely a good sign. When you have worms, it tells you that your soil is getting healthy. Now, when you start getting all of these little creepy crawlers everywhere in your soil, and they're living and they're happy and they're doing their deal, you set. That means that you're doing the right stuff. You can turn some of the worst soil into some of the best soil just simply by adding organic matter. Can you still plant? Yeah. Move the wood chips aside, Plant in that hole, dig a hole, put your plant in there, tomato plant or your pepper plant, and use a backfill. Is I used to use a mixture of peat moss, uh, cow manure, and compost. Mix them all together equal parts, and I backfill with that. I'm just saying until my soil gets up and running. Once it gets up and running, I don't have to do all that. And that's what I'm saying, folks. The key, the absolute key, is the soil. And you are actually farming when you actually farm these life forms in their soil. Your job is to feed them, to make sure that they have the right environment, make sure that they're doing well, and that's how you grow your soil. And then when you put your plants on top, your plants grow. Definitely. Well, good people, speaking of feeding, I better feed myself because I haven't eaten anything since this morning. Before you, well, I think before the comfort, yeah, I usually start cutting back the weeds and if I crop. I'll give you an example. Grass, weeds, I love them, love them, love them, love them, because that is your once they grow, I hack them off, leave them on the ground, and leave them there all winter long. When spring comes, they're gone, and all they're doing is they went in the ground, and that's what they did. And I want to thank each and every one of you. Yep, yep, that's right. That is so right. And I love it that I got people on here that know what to do with their garden. I love it. Each and every one of you been adding your knowledge in there, and it helps the others that are coming along as well to learn what you learn. And I want to tell you, definitely keep on growing. Keep growing, because I mean you're gonna have even farmers, professionals. They have days where this stuff is it make them scratch their head and say, wonder why this is not happening, or why is this uh, doing like it's doing. I thought I had this figured out, and they just have to take their time and follow nature. You gotta watch, look, and learn, because nature will tell you what's going on. It's only humans that take and make gardening really complex and difficult. I mean, they're the ones that make it difficult. 90, 90. And that's just the deal. Human beings make, because when I used to start when I first started learning what I wanted to do with gardening, there was a bunch of gardeners on there, and it was explaining it and making it complex, and I didn't understand what they were talking about. And they always kept directing me to go to a store and buy something that I would need in order to be a successful gardener. And common sense kept kicking in and saying, "Wait a minute, something's wrong with what he's telling you," because you go out into the forest, everything grows without anybody intervening in it. They're not on a fertilizer schedule with anybody coming out there fertilizing the trees or the grass or the weeds, and they're just doing their own deal. So keep that in mind, that some of the stuff in the garden don't really need you to keep messing over it. It needs you to pay attention and learn a little bit about your soil, and learn some things about your plant, what it needs are, and make sure it gets that, and that's it. And then you can eat all that nutritional food that's packed with nutrients. And that's what you want to do, because you're going to feel better when you eat that food. I'm telling you, There are days I went into my prop. Oh, I love growing collard greens and kale and making a big pot of it and eating off of it for 2 or 3 days. Oh, excuse me, folks, I get carried away. But I just thinking about it. Smoked turkey necks in it. Excuse me. Ah, I gotta go get something to eat, folks. Thank you very much for tuning in. This has been the Morning Gardener. I want to thank you all for participating and for the donations. Thank you very much. I appreciate you. And remember to keep on growing. Thank you.